Good morning, traders, and welcome to this yet another episode. Gold Rush Daily today being on Friday, the 5th of December 2025. And of course, being a Friday, it's good to approach the markets cautiously. And let's look at gold analysis. I think from what we had yesterday, the prices were quite enticing. We were able to take quite some good opportunities, and of course, I'll start by showing you the different ways that we probably could have gotten opportunities in the markets. We saw, I think yesterday when we were doing our market analysis, we had talked about this level here. Because first we had the BOS, so this was the first level of looking at some potential entries. The price came here, then we saw a drop by about 125 pips. So for me, I usually consider 100 pips or maybe 100 to 150 pips depending on how far the price can be able to go. Stop loss level here could fit 50 pips, so that was the first setup sell. Then the price consolidated or pushed slightly higher, so we saw the price do something like this, create a BOS there, and therefore this becomes a very nice OB to look at prices, right? So I know it's quite a bigger level here, but maybe when it is this one, I've always said sometimes you can wait for the price to reach the mean threshold, right? The price came all the way to this level. So from here to that is about 50 pips stop loss again. That was a very nice, nice buy, okay? So the price pushed up, all right? So maybe probably if someone was looking at buying opportunities, the price pushing up all the way to about 200 pips, all the way to this level. And this is the level that I marked. I had marked this level in the afternoon when I was doing the Gold Rush daily video in the afternoon. And I said this is the level that we will be looking at selling. And the price rallied all the way to this particular point. And why it was a bit more confidence on this level. Also, what gave me more confidence, it's also the fact that we had a positive unemployment claims, right? Instead of so the dollar strengthened, but instead of gold pushing on the downside, we saw gold started pushing higher. So I knew it was going basically to activate some selling orders so that it can now react to the data. And that exactly what happened. So some of these sentiments or some of these cues, basically you're able to understand them, especially if you have if you spend some time in the chart. I've always said, even if you're not trading, even if it's a data, just open the charts, look at how the price is going to react vis-a-vis the expectations of how it should react, and that sometimes can be able to give you some cues in terms of where the price happened. And I was looking at the manufacturing the unemployment claims, and the moment I saw that, I knew the price was coming to this level. And from this level, definitely we have some sellers here. And this was the entry here yesterday. I believe someone who watched the Good Rush video was able to take advantage of that. The price coming about 215 pips. So for me, I was targeting the price coming to this level. All right, I was targeting the price coming to that level because I had seen here again we had an order block. All right, so we had that order block. The price had already created a BOS there, so we had that this particular level. So the price came to this point, and that's why I took my profits actually. Because I had sold here, I didn't bother now to sell. Because I had sold this entry, this is the entry that I traded. Because I had already traded this sell entry, I didn't bother to look for buys. But again, this is a good opportunity that someone could have looked at some buying opportunities there, targeting that level. Of course, this time around, maybe you could target the liquidities, because This one having tested the OB here. Let me show you. This one having tested this OB. So the second time the price comes here is not really a guarantee. So maybe probably someone could have eyeballed this Asian high. Okay. So now that the Asian highs were taken during the New York session, so what we might see today, maybe probably some bullish alignment, right? Some bullish sentiment, because yesterday the Asian low or the Asian high, the price did not take out during the London session, so that can give us a cue on how the Asian, how the on how the New York session might be. So it is during the New York session that the price took out the Asian highs, all right? So that insinuates now that directional bias might maybe probably be pushed to today now, right? So that was a very nice opportunity here, even for those who maybe probably the aspect of liquidity. I've always taught you guys how to look at liquidities. So if I delete this level, right? So if there was someone who maybe probably you are looking at the concept of liquidity, the price has pushed up, taken out this liquidity. We know anytime the price takes out liquidity, there has to be a retracement, all right? So how do you program yourself? You look on the left. I've always told you, look on the left and try to mark an area here. This is a very high probability order block because we have a BOS. Okay, so the price here didn't tap this level, so it is during when the price was taking out the Asian highs, all right, that's when the price tapped that particular point. And that is also another way that we could have looked at a potential selling opportunity. The price dropped about 199 pips before now we start entering the close of that particular day, all right? So plenty of opportunities. Even here, there was another opportunity that we could have looked at. Okay, so if you open this chart, clearly you expand it, you see the price had created higher highs and higher lows here. The price was pushing up, then it pushed all the way down after taking these intermediate liquidities, that is the London highs, right, which is actually some key liquidities here, the London highs. So the price pushed on the downside. Okay, so you could have looked at this particular point here, right? This particular point here also could have offered some I know we traded this one, of course, looking at this OB, right, because we had an OB here, the one that I had drawn, right, at this particular point around somewhere there we had that OB, but on the 50 minutes time frame. But now, in case you didn't get the OB, the price has pushed down, created a BOS, and you see where the price is retracing back to, right, that engulfing. Okay, and here you could also have gotten some buys about, or some sells about 170 pips, right? So that's how yesterday's opportunity were. So what I'm saying now is that now the fact that we saw the price during the New York session, or the New York kill zone, that's when the price was able to take the Asian high of yesterday. So it might insinuate higher chances that today might be bullish, guided on the Asian highs and the Asian lows. Okay, so very quickly, daily time frame, right? Daily time frame. So what do we see on the daily time frame? A very bullish candle here, that is a gravestone, dragonfly doji, which insinuates even more higher prices. Okay, so on the 4-hour time frame, what do we see? So we see the price pushing higher, even though if you look at it on the bigger side, we can say gold has been consolidating here on the 4-hour time frame. If you look at the bigger picture of it, we can say we have been having some consolidation after we saw the price break above this level. But let me show you something interesting. So this is very interesting to note at, all right? Like I've always said, I don't trade this trend line, but they give me clues in terms of where the price is likely to go to. So the price is holding these levels, all right? This level, I mean, this trend line is holding the price. Anytime the price comes to this trend line, we see a bounce. Okay, so now where is the price likely to go next? Of course, we have seen these yesterday's highs here being taken out, because these are yesterday's highs. So let me go on the 1-hour time frame so that you can be able to see. So the yesterday's highs now, these ones, we see the price taking that. This is where the price opened. All right, this was the opening of the price today. Of course, tapping this level. All right, so this was the 1 hour OB, tapping that level and then pushing higher. Okay, so what I want to see is the closure of this candlestick. All right, how the candlestick is going to close. So if the price gives us a BOS, therefore we will be looking at an order block around this particular point. Okay, so I think we can that is 1 hour, that is on the 1 hour time frame. So on the 30 minutes time frame, still the same. We have to wait for the closure of this particular candlestick so that we can see whether we are going to get a BOS, and that BOS will be very significant. And now we will be looking at a potential order block here, right? I'm calling it potential order block because we have not yet seen a BOS. We have about 19 minutes for that candle to close. Same case on the 15 minutes time frame. We have about 19 minutes for that particular candlestick to close. Okay, so look at what happened here. So if you look at this 15 minutes time frame, of course, we see a BOS there. So of course, this becomes our order block. So the price scam respected this order block, and we saw the price pushing about 51 pips or so. But if you go to the 5 minutes time frame, we are able to refine that to that. So this is the 5 minutes order block here. So the price coming there and respecting that, right, pushing slightly on the downside, about 60 something pips also. And what we are seeing here on this particular trend is the price is creating higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so remember from what I said yesterday, from the daily time frame, we are seeing dragonfly doji, which insinuates even more higher prices. Okay, that is the candlesticks pattern. Also, we have seen yesterday during the New York session, that was when the price was able to take out the Asian high of yesterday, right? So all these giving us cues, not 100% confirmation, but it gives us clues that this particular today might actually be a bullish day. So we are looking for a bullish buyers. Okay, so now two things, you're going to look at two things here. So here the price, you can see the kind of pattern the price created here. It was quite a nice W pattern. All right, let me show you this. So that one, that one, that one, that one. All right, the price pushing higher. Okay, so you can even refer like that. All right, but no worries, let's look at it even from this particular point, because what I want to drive home is this particular level here. So we saw the price come all the way to this particular point. So price breaking above, that is the neckline, also creating a BOS, pushing on the downside, even though the push on the downside was not really heavy. So where are we looking at the price coming to? This is our OB. Okay, that is our OB. If you look at the Fibonacci, all right, if you look at the Fibonacci, the highs and the lows, the price almost tapped the OTE level, right? Almost tapped the OTE level. But again, this is also a fair value gap. Okay, this is also a fair value gap. So if you're using the fair value gap, because we had these quite a big candlestick, an imbalance one, therefore you could have taken an entry around this particular level, and we see the price pushing up, of course targeting now this particular liquidity. That is for those who wake up in the Asian session to trade. Okay, so now the price is pushing up. So one of the things that I'll be looking at is the low of this. All right, remember, when you go, let me show you something. When you go to the 15 minutes time frame or 30 minutes time frame, we see the entire of this candle. So again, so let me caution you, anytime if you're looking for trades here, I would advise best maybe probably having a stop loss slightly below this particular point, right? Or maybe even here, but there are chances that the price, because this is the Asian low, quite some significant liquidities here. Okay, so you can either have your stop loss here. If it's hit, you then look another re-entry. Maybe your stop loss is slightly below this particular point. Okay, so but now two things are likely to happen. Number one, I want to know from this lowest point, that is the Asian low. Okay, to the Asian high. Okay, so depending on how far the price will go before it retraces, maybe here the price might even continue to push on the upper side. But looking at this low and this high, this level is still in premium, and therefore it's not really a good buying level. Okay, it's not really a good buying level. But let's say maybe probably price pushes up maybe to some levels here, then start pushing on the downside, then this level could be a very nice buying level, being a breaker block because it is in discounted level. Okay, otherwise I'll still wait for the price to push to these particular levels. All right, I'll still wait for the price to push to these levels for me to look for buying opportunities. Okay, for me to look for buying opportunities. So that's what basically could advocate for, because my bias today being a bullish. Again, it's important we wait also for the Asian high. All right, so it's important to mark the Asian high and the Asian low. So the moment the Asian session concludes, mark the Asian high, mark the Asian low, and use that analogy basically to try and get the buyers of the day. But of course, we have at least two reasons why today might be bullish. Okay, so if you look at the dollar index as well, what we are seeing on the dollar index, we saw the price from the daily time frame. Our anticipation was the price to push come to this particular level. That is our anticipation. After the price gave us this BOS or broke below this neckline. And with that kind of anticipation, therefore, we are still looking at that happening, even though we were looking at, first of all, the price coming to this level. All right, sorry, we were looking at the price coming to this level before selling, because this is a key level, I think, on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, it's a key level on the 4-hour time frame. But what the price did is basically respecting the breaker. Okay, so if you look at this particular level, if you go to the lower time frames, you realize that this is a breaker, but on the 4-hour time frame, that is the breaker. Okay, on the 4-hour time frame, that is the breaker. So basically, to minimize that, if you go to the lower time frame, you might see maybe probably let's even do that now, right, so that you can see what I'm talking about, because some of these things is basically out of experience. You see, when you come to this particular point here, you see now, um that is the breaker. All right, that is the breaker. Okay, so you can, even if these are some weeks, you can even factor these other candle here, right? You can even factor that one up to that particular point, but let's even factor up to that point. So so what the price did, coming all the way to this breaker level here, all right, and respecting now this breaker. All right, so what you are looking at is probably the price pushing on the downside, coming all the way to the level that you are anticipating, or the price might push back to this level, because you can see this is the trend. There is a lot of imbalance. The price can come back to these levels, and then now we see a downtrend. Nevertheless, what we are looking at basically, it's a weaker dollar. And we have been talking about the chances of the Fed cutting rates, which is undermining the dollar, right? And what we might basically talk about, because yesterday we saw the dollar like is trying to gain ground. So when you look at also maybe probably like the yields, the US yields, they are also trying to gain the upward trajectory, right? So, and these basically, uh, let me show you. Just a minute. I'm trying to look at. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So I'm not getting that graph for the yield, but basically, if you try to look at the US yields, what they are projecting or what they are portraying is basically, yesterday we saw some bullish sentiments, all right? So which might be able to cap the price of gold as well, because we know when we have high yields, the prices of gold tends to push on the downside, and we have low yields, the gold prices tends to really appreciate. Okay, so but again, irrespective of that, what is very significant today, we have some key data here, and this data we have not actually had it for the last I think almost 2 months, because it was delayed due to the US government closure. So this data is very crucial. The core PCE price index, the prelim UOM consumer sentiment, and the prelim UOM inflation expectations, all of them being some key data that also the Fed looks at in terms of determining the rates, the high chances of, whether to cut the rates or not. So I know from today, 6 p.m., once we have this data released, then we see maybe probably an increment of the Fed, chances of the Fed cutting the rates increasing, because we have the Fed next week, all probably slightly decreasing depending on the outcome of these particular data. Okay, so I think it's key significant. It's significantly good to look at that. So I was talking about the yields. So there were the higher yields and strong US jobs data. Basically, this one could offer support for the dollar. So the reason why we saw the dollar yesterday trying to push on the upper direction, but now let's see how the price is going to react, whether it's going to come to this level and push up, all right, or maybe probably you're going to have a break below, of course, which will be determined by the macros that we have today at 6 p.m. Kenyan time. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. For gold, I'm looking at buyers. My buyers today being a bullish. So let's see how the price is going to behave. Remember to always trade cautiously, right? Remember to always trade cautiously, to always be disciplined, and again to back up your technicals with the fundamentals, because macros really move the market. They really affect the market. So it's always good to do your own research, and the reason why I go an extra mile to do this kind of videos, to highlight you in terms of what's happening in the markets, etc., etc. So remain disciplined, stay focused, and always remember to trade with purpose. So see you in the next video. I'll be doing a video later today for the prices of Bitcoin, because I know there are people who do follow Bitcoin, and be on the lookout on that particular video. So thank you guys, and have yourself an amazing weekend. Take some time to reflect how the week was, journal your trades, review your journal, and be ready for next week.